This conference will now be recorded.
My voice is clear, or is there any background noise?
It is clear.
Sorry?
It's clear.
It's okay. Okay. So what I'll do is, before I go into the other topics, I'll just try to show you the system. Okay, I'll just show you how exactly SAP system looks like. What are the different functionalities? How are you able to see the different functionalities within the SAP system? And then we will proceed with our other topics. So what I'll do is, first of all, I'll show you the ECC system. Okay, we will see how exactly SAP ECC system looks like. Once we understand it, then I'll tell you what is the difference between the ECC and SAP S4HANA. Okay, and throughout this course, wherever possible, we will understand both ECC as well as SAP S4HANA. Our main system that we'll be using throughout this course is going to be S4HANA. But before we go into the S4HANA in today's session, I'll just give you the glimpse of both the systems. So this is my system, SAP S4HANA 1909. I'm just trying to connect to the system. So in your case, I'll be providing you the system access in few weeks once we are at that stage where you can go and practice on your own. So you can see this is how the SAP logon pad looks like. SAP logon 760. This is nothing but the software. Okay, this is nothing but the software which will be provided to you by your technical team so that you can start working on the SAP system. Okay, and using this SAP logon pad, you can see there are different servers that you can connect to. Okay, so for example, you can see I have both. This EHP7 is nothing but my ECC system, and this is my SAP S4HANA 1909 system. So let me connect to the ECC system first. Now, whenever you connect to SAP system, these are the important parameters that system will ask you. Okay, system will ask you a client, system will ask you your user ID, and system will ask you your password. So all the users who wants to work on this SAP system, it may be the end user, it may be the consultant. If you want to work on this system, definitely you need to have your own user ID and you need to have your own password, right? Client concept, I will explain you later. Just now you understand this client means different servers. Okay, later on when we will see the system in detail, at that time I will tell you what is the concept of clients. So for example, if your technical team has given you the access of client 200, in that case, you will not be able to log in to client 800. Clients are completely independent of each other, right? So it is very important whenever you are logging into the SAP system, you are logging into the correct client because your user ID and passwords are client specific. If your user ID is created in 200, not be able to access it in 800. If your login ID is created in 800, you will not be able to access any other client in this system. Okay, user IDs and passwords, they are normally created by basis team. Yesterday we discussed that there are functional consultants and then there are technical consultants. So creation of users, providing you the passwords, this is the responsibility of basis consultant. Within basis, there is one responsibility area called as security, GRC and security. So GRC and security team, which is part of basis itself, they are responsible to provide you this user IDs and passwords. Okay, and the next one is logon language. So you can see by default it is showing English. EN is English. SAP supports more than 30 languages. Okay, so for example, currently you can see because it is logon language is English, when I log in with my user ID and password. So this is my user ID and I'll just enter my password here. Okay, as soon as I enter my user ID and password, system will try to connect me to the system. Okay, if you are already connected, system will tell you that your Vikram is, in our case, this is my user ID, that this user is already logged in. So whether you want to continue this logon or you want to terminate it and use another logon. Okay, this is common. Like even if you are using Gmail, for example, and there is a functionality in Gmail also which can control that if you are already logged in from one place, so whenever you try to log in the second time, system will tell you that your Gmail account is already logged in. So whether you want to terminate the earlier login which is already logged on, or you want to stop this and use the another logon which is already being used. So what will happen is you can see continue with this logon and end any other logons in the system. So what system will do? System will allow me to log in using this screen, and whatever earlier logon is already being used, that will be ended. Or the second option is terminate this logon, which means, okay, if I know that it is already logged on, let the other logon continue and I will terminate this. So in my case, I'm saying continue with this logon and terminate if it is already open somewhere. You will get this message that your old logon has been ended. You can see backend session closed by the system. Okay, anyways, this error you will not get every time, but only if your system is already logged in. Now, once you log in into the system, you can see this is called as SAP Easy Access screen. This is a screen that is given to your end users. Your end users will be able to see SAP Easy Access. In SAP Easy Access, you can see there are different functions which can be performed by your end users. Okay, so for example, you can see logistics, you can see accounting, you can see HR. These are the three important groups for all the modules in SAP. Okay, so for example, if you open logistics, your materials management, sales and distribution, production, plant maintenance, quality management, project system. So these are all the functionalities which are part of logistics. So if you are learning materials management, you are learning part of the logistics module in SAP, or part of the logistics module group. We can say these are the groups: logistics, accounting, and human resources. These are the module groups, and within this module groups, you can see there are different modules. So either you are learning materials management, or you are using sales and distribution, or you are a production consultant, or you are a plant maintenance consultant. So these are the all those modules you will be able to see here. So if I'm a user, if I'm an end user, and if I am responsible for related transactions, then I will go to this materials management. Within materials management, I can do purchasing, I can do inventory management, I can do the material valuation, I can buy the service from the other, I can create a purchase order for the services. Okay, I can create the material master. So if I am a user from this department, from materials management department, these are the activities that I would be interested in. Okay, within purchasing, you'll be able to see, you can create a purchase requisition, you can create a purchase order, you can create a quotation. So all those things relevant to materials management, in short, you will find under the materials management module. Same way, if you go to sales and distribution, these are all the activities that you can perform if you are a part of the sales team. Okay, so for example, you can create an inquiry whenever a customer comes to you and is inquiring about a particular product. You can enter that inquiry in the system. You can give the quotation to the customer. Okay, once the quotation is confirmed, you can once the customer has given you the order, you can go for sales order. Okay, later on you will give the delivery to the customer, and finally the billing will be created for the customer. So those things are related to sales. Similarly, if you are coming from production, if you are a production user, you will go to this production folder, and all the activities related to the production will be available in this folder. Right? So in this way, as I told you, these are the different module groups. Within finance, if you go, within accounting, if you go, you'll be able to see financial accounting, controlling, FSCM. Okay, so again, when we are talking about finance and controlling, within that also we have different modules. Even finance and controlling are two different modules. You can see FI, this is financial accounting, and controlling, this is another module. FSCM is a third module. Okay, real estate management is a fourth module. Banking applications is a fifth module. Public sector management again is a module. So it is not like a single consultant will be able to handle all these requirements. These are all the niche areas. Okay, it is very much practical possible that even if I have 10-15 years of experience, I'm only comfortable with financial accounting, but I am expert in that. Okay, so maybe I'm not knowing controlling, I'm not knowing FSCM, but one area I picked up and I became the expert on that. That is completely fine. If you have multiple module knowledge after 10 years, that is definitely the advantage. But being the expert on one area is very important, right? So within accounting, as I told you, you have financial accounting, you have controlling, you have FSCM. These are some of the examples of the accounting module group. Then you have HR. Within HR, you have personal management, you have time management, you have payroll, learning solutions, training and event management. So these are all those activities which are normally performed by the HR department end users in SAP. Okay, so just remember there are basically three different groups: logistics, accounting, and human resources. These are the three important groups within which all the functional modules are grouped. You name any functional module, it would be either the logistics module, or it would be the accounting module, or it would be the part of human resource group. Okay, so once you log in into the SAP system, as I told you, you will be able to see this SAP Easy Access. This SAP Easy Access, just remember, this is a folder or this is a screen that is normally visible to your end users, and end users are supposed to do these transactions. As a consultant, you will be also able to see this screen whenever you log in. As a consultant also, you will be taken to SAP Easy Access itself. But normally, you are not supposed to use any of these functions in the production system. Okay, again, I'll take the same example that I gave you yesterday. Yesterday, I told you the difference between the end user and the consultant. I gave you the example of the TV. You bought a TV, and then the expert came to your home and he has set up the TV, and finally he has provided you the training how to use that TV. So once the setup is done, will you like if a person sits on your sofa and watch a TV? The expert who came to install the TV, once the installation is done, now it is whose responsibility to enjoy the system? Consultant was outsider, right? Consultant responsibility was to set up the system so that you start using it. You don't want the consultant to start using the system. It is not consultant's responsibility to use the system on day-to-day basis. Consultant is not an accountant. Consultant is not a purchaser. He is not a salesperson. So his responsibility is help the salesperson, help the purchaser, help the accountant to carry out their day-to-day transactions rather than doing the transactions on their own. So if you are a consultant, it is not your responsibility to enter all these things in the system. You are not going to post any accounting document. You are not going to create any sales order. You are not going to create any purchase order, because that is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to help the purchasing team so that they are not getting any error when they are trying to create a purchase order, when they are trying to create a sales order. Okay, so normally this SAP Easy Access screen is only accessible to the end users. As a consultant, most of the time, what you will be doing as a consultant is you will be using this transaction called as SPRO. Okay, just remember SPRO. What exactly is SPRO? This SPRO will take you to, this is called as IMG, Implementation Guide. Okay, as a consultant, most of the times, whenever you are working on the system, you will be working on implementation guide. As an end user, If you are an end user, if you try to go to SPRO, if you try SPRO here, normally you will get a message that you are not authorized for SPRO. Will you give the tools to the end user also so that he can set up the TV on his own? Implementation guide means setup, which means that like a user who is the end user, he himself is changing the behavior of the system. That is completely not recommended, right? If you are an end user, if you are a customer who has bought the TV, definitely the company will not give you the tools to open the TV and make the settings as per your requirement. If you want to change anything, okay, if you want to, if there is some small problem in the TV, what you do normally? You call the technician, he will come, he'll come with the tools. He will do whatever changes are required. If the tools are given to you, you can open the TV on your own and do the changes, then company will clearly tell you now it is your responsibility to maintain the TV. Because you already touched the things which are not supposed to be touched by you. Now there is no more warranty from us. Right? Even in SAP, it is clearly recommended that user should not go to SPRO at all. Similarly, end user will not go to SPRO at all, and consultant will not go to SAP Easy Access at all in the production system. Okay, if it is a development system, if it is a testing system, you can do whatever you want. That is not a problem. If let's say, see, in our case, this is a testing environment. This is not actual customer's environment that if we do anything, it will impact the customer. So in the companies also, wherever you will be working, you will not be directly working on the production environment which is being used by the customer. You will be getting the testing environment where you can carry out your test. So if it is a testing environment, you can use IMG also, and you can use the SAP Easy Access also. But if it is a production system which is being used by the customer, in that as a consultant, we are not supposed to touch any activities in SAP Easy Access. Similarly, end user is not supposed to touch any of the activities which are in SPRO. Okay, so just remember this thing. This is very important. If you are a consultant, most of the time you will be working on the SPRO axis. Now, within this implementation guide, if I click on this, again you will be able to see all the different modules. You can see financial accounting, you can see controlling, you'll be able to see materials management, you'll be able to see sales and distribution. So whatever modules are available for the end user, all those modules are available for the consultants also, because this is from where you will set up the system so that the end user is able to use it. Okay, in our course also, most of the time we will be switching between IMG and Easy Access. Why? Because we are not only getting the training of the consultant, we are not only responsible to set up all the things from the implementation guide, but we are also supposed to be expert in the end user also. Although we are not going to do that end user activities on our own, but if we want to become a good consultant, we need to understand how the end user will work, because we are supposed to provide the training to the end user. So in this course, we are not going to only understand the implementation guide, but we are also going to understand how this SAP Easy Access works and what are the different functions within each and every module that the end user is supposed to perform. Okay, so obviously in our case, we will restrict the discussion to the module which is relevant to us. So for example, for some of you who are from who registered for training, they will be only understanding how the module works. Those of you who registered in sales and distribution, they will be able to understand from the sales and distribution point of view. And those of you who registered for financial accounting, they will be able to understand how financial accounting works in SAP S/4HANA. Okay, so what I'll do is, now I will open SAP S/4HANA system. Okay, again you can see it It is also asking me the same thing. It is asking the client, it is asking my user ID, it is asking my password, and it is asking for the language. So all four things that we have seen in ECC also. So again, if I provide my user ID, okay, let's try. I just want to show you this client is very important. So if my user ID is created in client 400, if I try 900 here, for example, and press enter, you will get this error. Client 900 is not available in this system. Let's try with 800. Enter. You can see, oh, sorry, I need to enter the password. Name or password is incorrect. So although client 800 is available in this system, but my user ID, this user ID that I'm using, this is not created in this particular client. My user ID is created only in client 400. And that is the reason whenever you are logging to the system, it is very important to enter the correct client. Who will help you? Which client to use? Your basis team. Okay, so before you start working on the system, this system is provided to you by the basis security GRCT. So if any problem while doing the login, whom to reach? You have to reach to the basis and security team. Anytime if you are not able to log into the system, you are getting the message that your password has expired, or you are entering the incorrect password, and let's say your user ID is locked. So in order to unlock, again you need to contact basis and security team. Okay, let me enter my password. Okay, here also you can see it is similar. It is also taking you to SAP Easy Access. Within SAP Easy Access, again you have logistics, again you have accounting, again you have HR. These are the three subgroups, or these are the three main groups within which all the modules, all the functional modules are grouped. So here again, Easy Access is same, and if I go to SPRO, okay, here also you can see I am getting the implementation guide. Okay, so if I compare ECC with S4 HANA, I'm not able to see any major changes here, right? Let me open the PPT that we discussed yesterday so that we can continue with our discussion and we highlight very clearly what is the difference between ECC and SAP S4 HANA. Any questions till now?
Not from my side.
Okay. Okay. Please confirm if you are able to see the PPT now.
Yes, it is.
Can you see the PPT?
Yeah, it is visible. Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so what we discussed, let's try to put it here. So SAP logon. What are the important things in SAP logon pad? What do we enter? So below are the inputs that we need to provide while logging into SAP system. Can you just tell me what are the important parameters? Number one, there are four parameters, right? Number one, client, right? Number two,
user ID, password, and language.
yes, password and language.
Language.
Right? These are the four important parameters that we enter whenever we connect to the SAP system. Now, language, as I told you, there are multiple languages which are supported by SAP. Let me show you one glimpse of it. So let me log off from the screen and let me log in once again. Okay, so here what I'll do is I will provide my user ID. I will provide my password, and instead of logon language English, I want to log in language German, which is DE. So don't worry about this codings as of now. I will tell you where exactly you will be able to see all these 2-digit codes for each language. Okay, so for example, this German company is using this SAP system and they want to see everything in the German language. Okay, so if you just press enter, system will connect you to SAP, but you can see now everything is written in German. So username, login time or login date, login time, and you can see this also, many things. These are very standard things. That is the reason they are in English. But otherwise, if you see all these things, they are appearing in German language. So let's try to press enter. See, even this modules, logistics, accounting, HR, this is also completely converted or translated to the German language, right? You can see this. This is nothing but the German translation of logistics. This is nothing but the German translation of accounting. And this is nothing but the German translation of the HR module, right? So how many languages are supported? So for that, because I'll not be able to understand anything in German, that is the reason I'm opening the English version. So ECC is opened in English and my SAP S4HANA application is opened in German language. This is English language now. So if I want to know what are the different languages, what I can do is maybe just to show you, I'm just opening one transaction. Okay, and not be this one. I'm going to SPRO. Let me see if I can show you the languages somewhere here. May not be here. So let me do one thing. Let me go to financial accounting, global settings. Okay, you don't need to worry about this. I'm just trying to show you the list where I'm going and all those things. You don't need to worry at this moment. And then master data, TL accounts, preparation, and this one. Okay, let me open any one value. Okay, and you can see this is exactly where I'm able to see all the different languages. Okay, so starting from Afrikaans, Arabic, Bulgarian, Catalan, Czech, Danish, German, Greek, English, Spanish. So you can see there are around close to 30 languages which are supported by SAP. So based upon the country where exactly this SAP system is being used, it is very much possible that those countries are using SAP in their own language. Most of the German companies, if you visit your German clients in Germany, they will be using German language when they're logging into the system. Similarly, when you go to, for example, if you go to Sweden, they'll be using Swedish. Okay, if you go to China, they'll be using Chinese. If you go to Russia, they can use Russian language. So they can log in their own language, and all these things, whatever we are able to see, that would be translated by the system automatically. Okay, not only different systems. Let's say I have one SAP system. Okay, let's take the same example as we took yesterday. Let's talk about Reliance Communication is implementing this SAP system. So in that case, Reliance Communication has offices in Germany, they have offices in Russia, okay, and they have the office in India. So my Indian user logging into the same SAP system, he can log in English language. The person who is sitting in Germany, same system he will open in the German language. And the same system which is being operated from Russia, it can be operated in the Russian language. So the same system can be used in different languages as per the comfort of the end user or even the comfort of the consultant. So whenever you log in into the SAP system, one of the very important field is language. Okay, so just remember, these are the 4 important points that you provide while you log in into the SAP system. Number 2, now you are in the system, you are using the SAP system, and at any point of time, if you want to do multiple activities. Okay, so for example, I am already doing something here. Okay, I'm already trying to do some configurations from this particular system, but parallelly, I want to use another transaction also. So what I'll do is, there is a button here called as new GUI window. So what will happen? System will open another screen, another SAP session. This is called another SAP session, where I can do other activity. For example, from one session, I am creating a purchase order. From the other session, I want to create a sales order. From the third session, I want to post the invoice. Okay, and I'll keep on clicking on this button and it will keep on opening different sessions. So the question is, what is the maximum number of sessions that I can open in SAP? So see, I clicked on this particular button 5 times and 6 times. So the total number of systems that I can open, this total number of sessions which I can open, max to max is 6 sessions. Okay, this is also important. See, why I'm explaining all these things to you. Number 1, these are very basics you must know whenever you are working on the SAP consulting. If a user comes to you and he's saying, oh, I'm getting this error, okay, you will not go to the books and try to find out, oh, what is this error, or you will not go to Google and try to find out what exactly is this error. You must know that there is a limit that this GUI can open only 6 sessions. Okay, and second reason why I'm explaining this is, these are the questions which are also asked in the certification exam. What is the maximum number of sessions that we can have for SAP GUI? So you must know the answer is 6. 6 is maximum. If you want to reduce that for the end user, let's say your company said, I know maximum is 6, but I don't want to provide my users more than 3. So again, you can go to basis team. You can tell them that I want to keep a limit of 3 sessions. So what will happen is, if the user tries to open the 4th session, there itself you will get error that maximum number of sessions reached. So if you are getting the question in the exam, what is the total maximum number of sessions that I can open, the answer is 6. So max to max, maximum number of sessions is 6. Just remember this. Just remember. Okay, let's go to the next one. What we discussed that after logging to the SAP system, system will by default take us to SAP Easy Access screen. Okay, SAP Easy Access screen is used by whom? By consultant or by end user?
End user.
By end user, right? SAP Easy Access screen is used by end user
Both.
to perform day-to-day business transactions. Yeah, as I told you, point which I'm writing is mainly for production system. If it is a testing system, yes, you can access and you can post the transactions. Okay, so SAP Easy Access screen is used by end user to perform day-to-day transactions. consultants should not use this in production system. If it is a production system, consultant should not use the SAP Easy Access screen. If it is a testing system, it is completely fine. If you are a consultant and you want to test something, whether I'm able to create a purchase order or not. Yesterday itself, someone asked, what is our responsibility as a tester? So before I give it to the user, I definitely need to check whatever configurations I have done, whether they are working or not. How will I test? I have to try some postings. I have to try some creation of purchase orders, sales orders. So definitely in the test system, I will go to this transaction and I'll try to create it. But in the production system, I'm not supposed to create any transactions because that is user's responsibility to enjoy the system. It is user's responsibility to use the system. We are external consultants. Our responsibility is to set up the system so that the end user is able to use it without any problem. Okay. As a consultant, for system setup and configurations, we use SAP IMG. IMG stands for Implementation Guide. Okay, and business users or end users are not supposed to touch SPRO IMG. Okay, so maybe I'll write here SAP SPRO. SPRO is a transaction code, and within SPRO you'll be able to see implementation guide. Okay, so this should be very clear. SPRO is for consultants and SAP Easy Access is for the end users so that they can carry out their day-to-day transactions. Okay, now let's talk about difference between SAP ECC and SAP S/4HANA. So what we have seen, when it comes to the login screen, it is same. It is also asking you the user ID. It is also asking you the password. It is asking you the client. It is asking you the language. But apart from that, if you see, there are some additional, if I show you this SAP S/4HANA system, if you go to SPRO, or maybe first of all, let me log off so that I can log in English. Otherwise, we will not be able to understand anything. Okay, so if I want to log off, I will log off all the 6 sessions. When I click on log off, it will automatically log off all the 6 sessions. You can see now everything has been logged off. So if I want to log in, again, I need to come to this SAP logon pad and I need to double click on the server that I want to connect to. So I'll connect to both so that we are able to see the differences. Sorry. I think it is disconnected. Let me close. Okay, so I'll provide my user ID, I'll provide my password, and by default, system will take the language as English. So this is ECC. Same way, I will connect to S/4HANA also. So this is my S/4HANA system. Okay. Now, if I want to compare, the first comparison that you can do is if you go to SPRO or even if you go to this SAP Easy Access, you will be able to see some new functionalities which are not there in ECC. Okay, so maybe I'll just give you 1 or 2 examples. Later on, whenever we'll be talking about a particular module, so what is new in SD, what is new in FI, what is new in MM, we will talk in detail. If I go to SPRO And if you go to the implementation guide, okay, if you go to this implementation guide, you can see some of the fields, some of the things are completely new, which were not there previously in SAP ECC. You can see this folder, conversion of accounting to SAP S/4HANA. Okay, there are a lot of other folders, SAP S/4HANA for group reporting. Okay, there is, from the SD point of view, there is advanced ATP. From the point of view, there is a new output control. So at this moment, I don't want to confuse you, but what I want to highlight here is there are some new and advanced features. There are some new and advanced functionalities from the functional point of view. New and advanced functional benefits. I'll write like this. So there are some completely new transactions, completely new functionalities which were not there in ECC. This is the first change if I compare SAP ECC with SAP S/4HANA. But this is all functional. Whatever I written here, functional. So within functional, just for the example sake, group reporting in SAP FICO, advanced ATP in SAP SD. Similarly, MRP live, just for example, in SAP MM/PP. So these are the advanced features. At this moment, I'm definitely not expecting you to know what is advanced ATP, to know what is MRP live, to know what is group reporting. Okay, so at this moment, I'm just making you aware that there are some new functionalities, and these are just examples. I know this is a very basic session. None of you will be knowing what is group reporting, what is advanced ATP, what is MRP live. These are the topics that we are going to discuss in detail from the functional point of view. But just remember that there are some advanced features provided in functional modules in SAP S/4HANA. Now, this first point is related to the functional. From the technology point of view, from the technical point of view, what is the difference between ECC and SAP S/4HANA? So for this, let me tell you one thing. If you go to first of all, how will you check whether the system is ECC system or SAP S/4HANA system? If I just give you a system, and if I ask you to, can you tell me this is ECC or SAP S/4HANA system? How will you verify that? Okay, obviously, if your basis team has provided you these details, he has given you this name, or even you can change this name if you want. So if I click on this name we can provide. Okay, so even if I give the name SAP S/4HANA to ECC system, it will not stop me. So I cannot be dependent on this description. This description I have provided. So where could I go and see which system I am using, what is its version, and which database is being used in the background? If I want to check those things, I need to click on system. Within system, I'll go to status. Okay. And in status, if you click on this product version, you can see product version. If you click on this, it will clearly tell you here you need to, if it is S/4HANA system, you need to come here and see this S4 core. Okay, in the installed software components versions, if it is a S/4HANA system, you will be able to see this S4 core. And within this S4 core, this 104 stands for 1909. Okay, let me help you out parallelly by writing here. So how to check SAP version? So number one, go to systems and status. If version is SAP S/4HANA, then we would be able to see S4 core. Okay, this is exactly what we are able able to see here, S4 core. And after S4 core, if it is 100, here we are able to see 104. So if it is 100, this means it is the version is SAP S4 HANA 1511. If it is 101, it is SAP S4 HANA 1610. If it is 102, it is SAP S4 HANA 1709. 103 is SAP S4 HANA 1809. And last one, which is available as of today, is SAP S4 HANA 1909. This is exactly what we are using. This 104 means this is S4 HANA 1909 system. Okay, so SAP, if you remember yesterday we discussed SAP S4 HANA was launched in 2015. Which month of 2015? It was launched in the 11th month of 2015. 11th month of 2015, first version. Second version of SAP S4 HANA was launched in 2016. Which month? October month, 10th month. Third version, 2017. Which month? In the month of September, 09. Fourth, 2018, in the month of September. Current one, 2019, in the month of September. So what we can expect? Future 105 will come. When it will come? It is planned to come in September 2020. Okay, so this is planned. So for next few years, SAP will keep on delivering the new versions every yearly. Every yearly SAP comes with the new version. For next few years, SAP has a plan to provide new versions every year. Why SAP is coming up with the new versions every year? Because there are a lot of features which are already decided by SAP that I want to provide this many features in SAP S4 HANA. And those are very advanced features. They cannot be implemented in 1 year, 2 years. So they have around 8 to 10 years of roadmap. They already decided that what we will include in the 2015 version, then what are the advanced features which will come in 2016, then what will come in 17. They already delivered up to 1909. They already delivered those features which are planned. There are more advanced features which are planned to be delivered in the coming years. But good thing is you don't need to worry because you are learning the core modules. What is core modules? MM, SD, FI, PP, PS, QM. These are core modules. These are very, very, very basic modules in SAP. What SAP is developing, what additional features that SAP is going to come up in future, those are not related to the core modules. Those are related to the advanced modules. Okay, so for example, what are the advanced modules? EWM, okay, is one advanced module. CRM, or maybe you can say C4C. Apart from that, you can say this one, advanced ATP and all, which is there is a separate tool from SAP for planning and consolidation purpose from the finance point of view, that is BPC, right? So there are advanced features which are going to be delivered in the advanced modules. Whatever features were planned in the core modules, if I talk about MM, SD, FI, CO, those new features are already available starting from 1709. 1709, 1809, 1909, these are already advanced features are already delivered in terms of the core modules. Now, whatever new features will come, they will come in the advanced module. So as a core module consultant, we don't need to worry what SAP is delivering in future. Definitely good. If you are keeping an eye and if you are able to learn those advanced modules also, definitely fine. But as a core module consultant, whatever is already available in SAP S4 HANA, that is already too much. And there are not much advanced features expected in the core modules going forward. Okay, so just remember how to check the version. Go to the system, go to the status, and if you are able to see S4 core, it means it is a SAP S4 HANA system. And how to check which version? So based on this number, and just remember again one question which can come in exam, which comes many times, is what is the logic of the versions? So can you tell me what is the logic of 1511, 1610? What exactly it means? First two characters are what?
Yeah.
And what is last two characters? Yeah, first two characters is nothing but year.
YYMM.
Right. Last two characters are nothing but
Month.
the month. Okay, this question comes in exam many times. What is the logic of the first two characters denotes what? Last two characters denote what? So they will give the option year, day, month, week. You have to properly answer it. Last two characters are month and first two characters are year. Okay. What about if it is a ECC system? In ECC system, can I see S4 core? The answer is no. Let's go to ECC system now. So again, in the ECC system, I will open the same thing, that is system and then status. So I'll go to system and I'll go to status. Okay, here also you can see product version. I'll click on this. Here you will not be able to see SAP S4 core. You will not be able to see S4 core. So if it is the ECC system, which component we should look at? If it is the ECC component, we should look at the SAP underscore APPL, SAP application, this one, SAP underscore APPL. This one is important. If it is ECC system, if version is, instead of version, see, these are the versions. Now the question is S4 HANA is a version or these are the versions. So actually speaking, these are the versions. SAP S4 HANA is not a version. SAP S4 HANA is a product. These are two different products. ECC and S4 HANA, according to SAP, these are two different products. So if the product is SAP S4 HANA, then within S4 HANA, these are the different versions. If the product is ECC, if the product is SAP ECC, then we would be able to see SAP underscore APPL. Okay, if you are able to see SAP APPL, this means it is SAP ECC system. Again, if you come to the release, this release also denotes something. Within SAP ECC also there are different versions. What are those versions? Again, let's try to create a list. So what do you mean by 617? Within ECC, there are different EHPs, enhancement packages. So 617 means, it means EHP 7. This last character 7 denotes the EHP version. What do you mean by EHP? Enhancement package. Okay, these things are good to know. No need to worry about, you don't need to do the by heart of this. These things definitely, if you remember this, these are very good. But at least understand that in ECC also there are different versions, starting from EHP 0 to EHP 7. So maybe what I'll do is 61X, and X represents enhancement package. Okay, so latest one is 618. In ECC, if you are implementing SAP ECC system, the latest one is EHP 8. Okay, the one that we are using is EHP 7. How can I say that? I can say because I can see here the one that we are using is 617. In case of MDG, we are using 618, but in case of ECC, we are using 617, which means we are using EHP 7. Okay, any questions till now? Okay, if not, yesterday we discussed about three different layers. Yeah, go ahead. Any questions? Someone spoke something?
Yes, yes, sir. My question.
Okay, no
Hello.
questions. Yesterday, if you remember, yeah, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Sir, actually, there are so many versions. Actually, I can see in HANA. So, if some company had implemented one version, so they have to be update the next one, or they may keep going in this particular what
No,
they have implemented.
right. Good question, Tushar. So it is up to the customer. So for example, if my customer has implemented SAP S/4HANA 1709 2 years back, let's say our customer has implemented SAP S/4HANA 1709 in 2018 year, and now the latest version available is 1909, and in few months even 2009 will also come. So the question from Tushar is it mandatory for the customers to upgrade from 1709 to 1809 and 1809 to 1909, or it is optional? The answer is it is optional for the customer. It is optional whether the customer wants to use the advanced features provided in 1809 or they want to continue using 1709. Let me give you the example. You are using, let's say, Apple mobile, okay, or maybe you are using the Android mobile. You keep on getting these messages from your mobile that the next new version is available, and it is up to you whether you want to install that or not. It is not mandatory for you, right? So if you are using iPhone, you will keep on getting the messages that the new product is available, new version is available. Click on this button to download and install, but it is up to you whether you want to use it or not. Same way, whenever SAP comes up with a new version, they provide you the option that whether you want to upgrade or not. But the problem is SAP upgradation is not so easy. It is not like just you clicked on download and install and everything is done. It requires a lot of testing because you want to make sure that nothing goes wrong. It is a production system that you are using. If a customer, let's say you implemented or upgraded to the latest version and some of the data got deleted from the system, that is a big risk to the organization. And that is the reason this upgrades needs to be taken care very seriously. And obviously it involves a huge cost, right? And wherever there is a cost, definitely it has to come from the business, whether they want to implement it or not. That is the reason normally none of the customers will immediately go for 1809 or 1909. Maybe what they can do is, if they implemented 1709, they will wait for a few years. If they see the big difference between 1709 and 2009, once in 3 years, once in 4 years, they can upgrade their system rather than upgrading every year. Tushar, have you got your answer? Not able to hear you, Tushar.
Hello. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So yesterday, if you remember, we discussed that there are 3-tier architecture of SAP, and there are 3 layers. What are those 3 layers? Do you remember that? What is the first layer?
Presentation.
Presentation, right? Presentation layer.
Application.
Number 2, application layer. And number 3,
Database.
database. Exactly. So these are the 3 layers in the SAP system. Okay, now we will compare these 3 layers in SAP ECC versus SAP S/4HANA. So presentation layer. What is the presentation layer? if I'm using this SAP ECC system, what is my presentation layer currently?
My GUI.
Okay, GUI is
Easy
fine.
access
Definitely it
screen.
is a GUI, but
Easy
which
SAP
access.
Easy
is
Access.
my physical
Laptop,
from where I'm
computer.
Oh, you mean to say gadgets?
Laptop.
definitely, but which is a system from where I'm going to connecting? I'm currently connecting from my laptop, right?
Yeah.
Laptop.
Okay, maybe let's take your way. Let's take your way. You are saying SAP GUI is my presentation.
But that GUI I can connect from laptop
Okay, me,
or my
if I want
mobile or
to
from my tablet.
exactly, exactly. So, just want to mute yourself. Whenever you are answering, you are mute. Once you are done, just mute yourself. There is some background noise. Okay. So the presentation layer, as you rightly said, is SAP GUI. Okay, so I'm coming to SAP GUI. What is SAP GUI? SAP logon pad in short. So GUI is what we are able to see here. So maybe if you want to change it to SAP logon pad, is my SAP presentation layer. What about SAP S/4HANA? Even SAP S/4HANA I'm able to access from GUI. So this is applicable in S/4HANA also. Am I right?
Additionally, as you
Even in
specified
SAP S/4HANA,
yesterday,
I
Fiori also.
yeah, we will come to that. But first, whatever we are seeing till now, we understood that using this SAP logon pad, I can connect to SAP ECC also, and I can connect to SAP S/4HANA also. Right? Now, one important change in SAP S/4HANA is in SAP S/4HANA, in addition to this GUI is obviously available. We already seen that we can connect through SAP logon pad to SAP S/4HANA also. But in addition to that, it is also possible to connect to SAP S/4HANA system from the okay, your web browser can be anything, Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, right, Firefox. So from there also you can connect to your SAP S/4HANA system. So I'm just trying to connect to SAP S/4HANA system. See, it is asking the same thing. It is asking you user, it is asking you password, it is also asking you language, but it is not asking you client. Okay, I'll come to that point. I'll tell you why it is not asking you for client. As of now, I'll just enter my user ID, same user ID, what I used in GUI, same user ID password, I'll be able to use in this screen. So this is a new user interface. What I'm doing here, this is not possible in ECC. In ECC, I cannot go to web browser and try to connect to the SAP system. In ECC, I cannot go to any web browser and try to connect to the SAP system. So this is a new user interface. This is called as SAP Fiori. Okay, this is called as SAP Fiori. Here also I can be able to create many different, I can perform many different transactions. So if I'm an consultant, I'll be able to do create a purchase order, create a purchase requisition. I'll be able to see various different reports. So whatever I'm in GUI, I'm also able to do it from Fiori. But this Fiori is something which is only available in SAP S/4HANA. Okay, there are some exceptions. I'll talk about those exceptions later on. Just remember, this SAP Fiori is a new user interface which was delivered in addition to the traditional GUI. This is called as traditional GUI. The old GUI, we will call it as a traditional GUI. So in ECC, the only option to connect, the only presentation layer can be SAP logon pad, which is also called as GUI. But when it comes to SAP S/4HANA, not only we have SAP logon pad, but also we have SAP Fiori. I can connect my SAP system not only using the traditional GUI, but I can also connect to SAP S/4HANA using SAP Fiori. Now, what is the benefit? So maybe I'll write it here. What are the benefits because of this change? The benefit is, if you are using SAP Logon Pad, this SAP Logon Pad can only be installed. This SAP Logon Pad can only be installed on your PC or laptop. So if you are working on SAP ECC system, you have to be in front of your computer or laptop. What if you want to do the transactions? What if you want to see the reports from your mobile device? Nowadays, everything is common. We are even able to create we are able to book the railway ticket, movie ticket, everything. Even a small grocery store is allowing us to book the order using the mobile device. SAP is a very big application. Why I unnecessarily sit in front of computer to do the transactions? Why not I can do my transaction from my mobile device? That was a problem with SAP ECC. SAP ECC, one of the big challenge was, if you want to do any transaction, you have to sit in front of computer, and that too, this screens, what I'm showing you here. So for example, if I want to create a purchase order, I'll just give you one example. If you want to create a purchase order in SAP ECC system, we used to remember the transaction codes. For example, ME21N. This is a transaction code which will allow you to create a purchase order. If you see the screen, okay, this is create purchase order screen. If you see it, in each section, there are hundreds of fields. So if I'm giving the training to you, one screen is having 100 fields, you can assume what would be the difficulty. Let's assume you are learning SAP now, and if I want to give the training, I need to explain you field by field. It is very difficult for you. There are thousands of transaction codes, and in each and every transaction code, there are hundreds of fields. So it is very difficult for you to learn SAP. Think about the end user point of view. For end user, if you want to make him ready to do the transactions, you need to train him in all these fields. So it is very difficult. Okay, that is another drawback of SAP ECC, that the screens are very complicated. They are not user friendly. Okay, so number one, the problem that we discussed is in ECC, since there is no Fiori, we need to use either PC or laptop to perform all our transactions. Okay, but when it comes to S/4HANA, using Fiori, we can post our transactions from mobile and tabs as well. So this is one benefit of SAP S/4HANA compared to SAP ECC system. Number one is the benefit at the presentation layer is that in addition to SAP GUI, we are able to use SAP Fiori screens to carry out our transactions. What is the benefit? The benefit is we will not require a laptop or a computer to do the transaction. We can do our transactions from mobiles and tabs also. Also, in addition to that, screens are also very user friendly. Okay, so when I'll show you the Fiori thing in detail, when I'll show you the Fiori screens in detail, you will identify that the look and feel is very simple compared to how it was looking in SAP ECC. The Fiori screen's look and feel is better compared to the look and feel of this old GUI. So from the presentation point of view, one benefit that we identified. Let's talk about the application. What do you mean by the application? Which application are we using when we are using SAP ECC? When we are using SAP ECC, the application is SAP ECC EHP 0 to EHP 8. These are the different versions available from the application point of view. Just now we discussed, if I want to check what is my version, I will go to SAP_APPL in ECC system and I'll be able to see which version we are using. When it comes to SAP S/4HANA, it is SAP S/4HANA, and the versions which are available here are, I'm just writing YYMM. So starting from 1511 to as of today 1909, these are the different applications which are available from SAP as of today. Clear? Okay, so what are the benefits of SAP S/4HANA? Just now we discussed functional benefits. SAP S/4HANA provides, from the application point of view, it provides new functional benefits. Okay, examples I already gave you. So from FICO, there is a group reporting. This is just example. There are more than 10-15 items in each. Okay, this is just example. From SD, we have AATP, Advanced ATP. From MM or PP, we have MRP Live, right? So these are the examples from the functional benefits. SAP S/4HANA provides you better application, which provides you more functional benefits compared to ECC. And the last one, coming to the database. What is the purpose of the database? To store the data. Whenever you do any transactions in the application using the presentation system, so you are using a PC, you connect it to GUI, you connect it to this application, and you have entered the purchase order. As soon as you enter the purchase order, the data gets stored in the database. So database is very important, right? If your database is slow, then your entire system becomes slow. The problem with SAP ECC till 2011, SAP was using third-party databases. Till 2011, SAP don't had their own database. They were completely dependent on third parties for their databases. Just give me a minute. Okay, so till 2011, SAP was totally dependent on third-party databases. What do you mean by third-party databases? So SAP was only application company. SAP was only providing application. For database, they were dependent on Oracle. You must have heard these databases whenever during your college times and all, right? There must be any particular subject related to the database management. If not, just remember these 2-3 words: Oracle, SQL Server, which is part of Microsoft. So there were various different databases which was used by SAP till 2011, because till 2011 SAP don't had their own database. In 2011, SAP came up with their own database. SAP came up with their own database. What is that own database? Any idea? Which database is SAP's own database?
HANA.
Exactly, HANA. So if you are using SAP ECC, if your customer is using SAP ECC, either they are using HANA or they are using Oracle, SQL Server, DB2. There is a big list. DB2, Sybase. There are many different databases which are available in the market, and SAP was not developing their own database. SAP was only developing applications, and for databases, SAP was using third-party databases. Why SAP came up with HANA? Why SAP came up with their own database? Because in ECC, one of the major first problem we already understood, that it was required to sit in front of computer and laptop to do the transaction. Every customer was complaining that why are we not able to do the transactions from your mobile device? Why the screens are so complicated? Why are we not getting the simpler screens? Why are we not able to access the transactions from the web browser rather than connecting through the SAP logon? So that was the first challenge. Second challenge obviously was there was many new functionalities which the customers were expecting. Customers were not happy with the group reporting which was available in ECC. Customers were not happy with the advanced ATP functionality available. Customers were not happy with the MRP functionality which was available in ECC. So second problem that the customers were facing was the functionality related. So that is provided using the application. The third challenge that customers were facing in SAP ECC was slowness. So although they were able to do the transactions in ECC, but you think about this, whenever a customer is using SAP, there can be 1,000, 10,000 users who are working parallelly on the same system. Okay, yesterday I gave you the example. When you book the railway ticket, you know systems becomes too slow. Why? Normally during the in India at least, I'm giving the example, between 10 to 10:30, which is a Tatkal booking timing. So even we are not able to connect to the system, forget about booking the ticket. The website itself doesn't get loaded. What is the reason? The reason is there are many users, thousands, maybe billions of users who are trying to access the same database at the same time. Many times even we have heard the database has been corrupted and for 3-4 hours the website will be under maintenance. Why this thing happens? Because the load to the database, if it increases, definitely the system will become slow, or even you will not be able to do anything. So these were the challenges in the traditional ECC system because SAP was using third-party databases. So the system was becoming slow. Many times the users were not able to generate the report that they want. It was taking hours to generate those reports. So that was again one of the common complaints from the customers, that we are not able to generate our reports on time. It is taking hours to execute the reports. So what SAP has done is, instead of again going to the third-party databases, SAP said, let's make the use of the latest technology available in the market. And they developed their own database called as SAP HANA. Okay, in the next session, we will understand HANA in detail. We will understand why HANA is faster. What technologies are used by SAP to make HANA a faster database. Okay, but as of today, just understand that SAP was totally dependent on the third-party databases, and that is the reason the customers were complaining about the speed. Okay, but now in SAP S/4HANA, can I use old database? Can I use Oracle, SQL Server, DB2 in SAP S/4HANA? The answer is straightforward no. SAP S/4HANA can only work on HANA DB. You cannot use any other database with SAP S/4HANA. Okay, and what is the benefit? HANA provides speed. It can perform transactions and reports faster compared to previous databases. Okay, why? That is the question that we will try to understand in the next session. Why? Why HANA is faster? What SAP has done in HANA so that the system became faster? So those are some of the points that we will discuss in the next session in detail. But as of now, just understand These are the three main areas. If someone is asking you, you should be very clear with this table that we created. If anyone is asking you, why should I go for SAP S/4HANA? Why not SAP ECC? So your answer would be number one, in SAP ECC, you cannot do the transactions using the mobile device. You cannot do the transactions using the web browser, and your screens are very complicated. In S/4HANA, SAP came up with SAP Fiori. Using SAP Fiori, you can access your transactions from mobile tabs. Using SAP Fiori, SAP has provided the browser-based option. You can go to Google Chrome, you can go to Internet Explorer and start connecting SAP. On top of that, the screens that are provided on SAP Fiori are simple to use. Right? They are simple to use, even for the end user, even for the new user, it is very easy to understand rather than hundreds of fields. There are only few fields which are very important. Only those fields you need to maintain. Right? When it comes to the application, from the functionality point of view, SAP provides a lot of advanced features, a lot of advanced functionalities in FICO, a lot of advanced functionalities in MM, a lot of advanced functionalities in SD and other modules in SAP, functional modules. And from the database point of view, ECC was totally dependent on third-party databases till 2011. Only after 2011, SAP ECC customers had a choice that they can go for SAP HANA database. Okay, but in SAP S/4HANA, the only option for the database is HANA. We cannot use Oracle, SQL Server, DB2 with SAP S/4HANA. So name itself, see the name itself. Why it is called as SAP S/4HANA? It is called as SAP S/4HANA because it is using HANA database in the background. The name itself is S/4, there is no question of using any third-party database. Only HANA is a database for HANA. So these are noted with SAP. These are differences. I think we were already discussing the differences here. So maybe I'll remove this slide we have covered here. Differences between SAP ECC and S/4HANA. So before we close today, just a quick understanding, very straightforward, the questions that can be asked to you and what is the answer. Number one is just a minute. Yeah. Number one, we introduce HANA today. So question number one, can I use SAP S/4HANA with third-party DB? What is your answer? Can I use third database with SAP S/4HANA?
No.
No.
Answer is straightforward, no. SAP S/4HANA works only on HANA database. Okay. Question number two, can I use SAP HANA database on SAP ECC? What do you think the answer is?
Yes.
Yes, it can be.
It
Yes.
is. It is possible, right? Use HANA on SAP ECC. So yes, starting from 2000, not even 2011, maybe 2011 SAP came up with SAP HANA, but it was allowed to be used with ECC only in 2013. So starting from 2013, ECC customers can use SAP HANA database. And if they are using SAP ECC on SAP HANA database, what is the product name? It is called as SAP Business Suite on. Very important. It's on. In case of S4HANA, it was for SAP Business Suite for SAP HANA. This is SAP Business Suite on SAP HANA. Another name for the same SAP ECC system on HANA database is SAP Business Suite powered by SAP HANA. This is also, see, this needs to be very clear in your mind. When you see this, it should be very clear in your mind whether this is ECC system or S4HANA system. So these two are nothing but SAP ECC using HANA DB. This is a product name. Same way, this is also same. SAP ECC using SAP HANA DB. Okay, but when it comes to SAP S4HANA, obviously using HANA DB, then what is the full form? SAP S4HANA using HANA DB. Yesterday we discussed this. SAP Business Suite
For.
This 4 stands for, right? SAP Business Suite for, this for is very important. For SAP HANA. So this terminology is very clear in your mind. There is a lot of confusion in the market. People are using whatever they feel. Okay, many people are not aware that what is the difference between on HANA and for HANA. But you should be very clear whenever you are looking at the opportunities also, whenever you are searching for the jobs, make sure that if you want to work on S4HANA, obviously, I'm not saying that you should be very selective. If you are getting a chance to work on ECC, don't be selective, accept the job. But still, if you have in mind that I want to work on S4HANA, be clear with these terminologies. SAP Business Suite on HANA or SAP Business Suite powered by SAP HANA is not S4HANA. It is SAP ECC system running on HANA database. SAP S4HANA is SAP Business Suite for SAP HANA. Okay, you need to be very clear with this terminologies. Now, what exactly is the full form of HANA? Okay, what does HANA stands for? Yesterday, I think someone has answered that. HANA stands for highly analytical appliances. Highly, highly, A-N, high performance. You can say high performance also. High performance analytical appliances. Okay, HANA stands for high performance analytical appliances. Why high performance? Because it is providing you speed. Performance is faster compared to the old databases. Why? As I told you, that is the next topic that we are going to discuss. Why HANA is faster? Why it is providing you high performance? What SAP has provided in HANA, which was not there in the other databases. Okay, that is something which we will discuss in our next session. Coming to theory. So my question is, can I use SAP Fiori in SAP ECC system? This is a very tricky question. What do you feel? Is it possible?
It's possible. It's possible. You pay no data service for that, then you can use it. Is it possible?
No, you are saying it is possible.
Yeah.
Answer is, if you go into the industry and see how many customers are using SAP ECC, and out of those customers, how many customers are using, the answer is less than 1%. But coming to the practicality, our question is possible or not. Even if it is 1% customers who are using, it means it is possible, right? So the answer is possible, but only maybe 1 to 2% of Fiori capabilities. Possible, but only 1 or 2% of Fiori capabilities are available in ECC compared to S4HANA. So in S4HANA, Fiori is very advanced Fiori. It's just not for the namesake. There are a lot of functions that you can do in Fiori when it comes to SAP S4HANA. But when it comes to ECC, although it is practically possible to use Fiori, but if you see how much features are available, it is only 1 or 2% of those features which are available in SAP S4HANA. I'll give you the reason. What are those features? So again, don't worry about what I'm writing here. We will talk in detail when we have the Fiori session. In Fiori, just remember as of now, there are 3 different types of applications. There are 3 types of applications. Okay, number 1 is transactional. Number 2 is analytical. And number 3 is fact sheets. Out of
Vikram, your voice is very wavering now. Like I think some
above
connection issues.
3 types of. Is it okay now? Is it better now?
Yes,
Yeah,
Others are able to hear me clearly?
it is better. Yeah, well, during the beginning of this slide, it was very wavery. Now, like it's somewhat better. Yeah.
No problem, no problem. So I'll explain the slides once again once I just complete this. So out of above 3 types of applications, only transactional applications. It doesn't mean all the transactional applications. Around you can say 5% or maybe 2%. Okay, around 2 to 5% can work on SAP ECC with non-HANA database. If you are using non-HANA database, then you cannot use analytical and fact sheet applications in SAP ECC. Okay. If using HANA, then 2 to 5% of transactional and analytical applications can be used. So the answer, I think you got it, is although practically possible, SAP Fiori can be used in SAP ECC, but out of the 3 types of applications, if you are using non-HANA database, you can only use transactional applications. That too, if there are thousands applications provided by SAP in S4HANA, only 20 to 30 applications can be used in ECC. Same way, if you are using HANA database, then you can also use analytical applications. But again, out of the 1,000 applications which are provided in SAP S4HANA, only important 20-30 applications can be used as analytical applications with HANA. Right? So why I'm explaining this is normally if you ask in the market, can I use ECC? 99% of the people will say no, because they feel that Fiori is only available in S4HANA. Although, as I told you, most of them are correct because they have never used Fiori on ECC. But when it comes to the practicality, it is possible. So answer should be very clear. It is possible, but only few customers are using it. Only 1%, you can say. Only 1% of the customers may be using it. Okay, this is about
These
Fiori.
Can I ask a question, please?
Go ahead. Yeah.
These Fiori applications are like a default with it's coming with default, or like some developments are needed. Like I can develop my own Fiori application.
Both are possible, Nagesh. So similar to the other SAP functions, even in Fiori, SAP delivers many standard applications. Okay, so for example, if I show you Fiori screen here, okay, this is my Fiori screen, which is getting opened in the web browser. Okay, this is my Fiori screen. So whatever you are able to see here, these are the standard applications which are pre-delivered by SAP. But in addition to this, if you want to create your own application, you can do that, but you need a technical consultant, right? As a functional consultant, you don't create any new applications. So if you want to develop your own application, you have to contact ABAP as well as Fiori consultant. Now in SAP S4HANA world, one new technical consultant is Fiori consultant. In ECC, since there was no Fiori, or there are only few customers who are using Fiori, in ECC, we don't need the Fiori consultant. But in S4HANA, in addition to ABAP, we also need a Fiori consultant so that whenever we want to create a new application, or whenever we want to change the existing application, or maybe we want to provide the necessary authorizations. So whatever technicalities are required from Fiori point of view, those are normally done by the Fiori consultant.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay.
I had a question.
Go ahead.
Is when customers are buying SAP S/4HANA licenses, does it include Fiori as a part of that license, or is it a separate cost?
It is part of the standard license. You don't need to pay the extra cost in S4HANA. In S4HANA, Fiori is by default available to the customers.
Okay.
That means S4 HANA is a package of like your Fiori and HANA DB and all your like ECC components or whatever like ERP components. Is that correct?
Exactly. So if you want to answer this question, yes, 100%. If you want to answer this question, what is S4HANA? Why I should go for S4HANA? The answer is it is providing you the package. Number one, it is providing you better database, HANA, which is providing you better performance in terms of the speed. Second, it provides you Fiori, which allows you the better user interface. And number three, it is allowing you the advanced features when it comes to the functional modules. So the package consists of these three advantages compared to ECC.
I had another question. Sorry.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
No, please go ahead. Please go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. So what I want to ask here is one more thing. Like, how about the hardware? Is this I mean, SAP recommend something, or like I can go with HP or whatever I want? Is it something like that? Or
yeah, Nagesha, when it comes to hardware for HANA, definitely the advanced hardware is required. And exactly that I told you that when we understand the HANA DB in our next session, I will tell you what are the hardware requirements. Okay, may not be in detail because we are not the basis and other consultants who are responsible for it. But yes, overview of what hardware capabilities are required, whether we can use the normal hardware or it requires a separate hardware. The answer is yes, definitely HANA cannot work on the standard hardware. There is a prerequisite. There are some certified vendors who are providing the HANA hardware.
okay, like that means SAP is not a hardware vendor. Like are they tied up with, just to understand that one? Okay, maybe when we visit that place, you can explain us. Thank you.
SAP is not a hardware vendor. SAP has certified some vendors like HP, Dell, Fujitsu. These are the SAP certified vendors. So whenever a customer is implementing SAP S4HANA for the hardware, SAP has a list of those vendors from where they can buy the server. They can buy the hardware.
Thank you.
Rohit, you were asking something?
Yes, I had a question. So when it comes to implementations, and you were mentioning about Fiori, there are Fiori specific consultants also. When it is coming to actual implementation, the underlying system and the configuration is done first, and Fiori follows after that, because Fiori is the interface, right? It's not the system. So what I'm trying to say is that if a certain sales organization in a certain company code has certain kind of invoicing that should be made applicable for that sales organization, that needs to be configured in the system first, and then Fiori user interface needs to be configured after that in accordance to that configuration, so that a person pulling a report of that sales organization can get
So,
those
Rohit,
invoice types. Sorry.
yeah. See, Rohit, first of all, when it comes to Fiori, there is no separate configuration required. Fiori applications are plug and play. Okay, which means there is no separate configuration required to work on Fiori. Now, thing number two, as you said, before I start using Fiori, I need to configure. So, good thing is, Fiori you can use to configure also. If you want to create a company code, if you want to set up the billing pattern, those things also can be done from Fiori. So whatever activities we were able to do from SPRO in the traditional GUI, even as a consultants, we can use Fiori to do those configurations.
Okay, but I was mostly talking from so when we are doing a conversion from ECC to SAP S4, I was talking about at that time, if there is any customization during that transition that happens, that needs to be done in the system first, and
Exactly.
Fiori follows the rest on its own.
Definitely. Talking about the conversion, that is altogether a separate project in which definitely you need to do a lot of activities in your ECC system to make it ready to be converted. And then once it is converted, you will be doing some activities in the target system, and then you'll start using the Fiori screens. But my recommendation would be, Rohit, we have a separate, once we complete all the basic understanding, towards the end of the course, we have a session on the conversion. So till that point, whatever we are discussing, don't get confused from the point of view of the conversion. Just assume in this way, we are implementing this SAP S/4HANA for a new customer. There is no ECC in place. This customer is completely new, and we are implementing this SAP S/4HANA for this customer. At the end of the course, we will introduce that scenario in which if a customer is already using ECC and now he wants to perform the conversion to S/4HANA, what are the activities to be done?
Okay, thanks, Vikram.
Okay, any other questions?
One last question again. You haven't touched on these terminologies yet, but I've heard of these. I am sure everybody has hybrid, on-premise. Where do these apply in these three layers?
No, they will come in this relay, but that is the next topic that we are going to discuss.
Okay.
In our
Okay.
next
Thank you.
we are going to talk about HANA in detail. We are going to discuss Fiori in detail, and then maybe if possible on Saturday itself. Otherwise, on Sunday we'll be talking about what is SAP S/4HANA on-premise, what is SAP S/4HANA on cloud, what is a hybrid scenario. Okay, what are the different deployment options? So there are a lot of things which we'll be discussing in the next session.
Okay, thanks.
Anyone else has any questions? Yeah.
Okay. This is, I mean, any additional reading recommended? Any additional resources like book or something for more information?
Definitely. What I will do is today itself, I will share some PDFs with you, okay, which are required if you want to appear in the certification exam. So parallelly, you should go through those PDFs also. just to prepare you for the certification exam. Otherwise, from the understanding point of view, I think this PPT is enough.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, many of you are silent. At least speak up. If you have any questions, please don't park it. Try to clarify in the session itself. Okay, if no questions, then we can close today and we will meet again on next Saturday with the topics on HANA and Fiori. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vikram.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.